The Switch Indie Showcase dropped a heavy stack of new games with previews and release dates. We'll talk about some of our top picks.
And some very exciting announcements coming out of EA Games. We've got all this news and so much more right now on Gaming News Weekly. Gaming News Weekly is back with a brand new episode, bringing you the best video game news, the biggest video game news that you need to know that happened this past week. We're the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single week we're bringing you all the news about this video game industry that we all love. My name is Erock the Red. I'm joined every week by Full Clip. How are you today, buddy? What's going on?
Doing good, man. Fully recovered since last episode. How are you?
That's good. Dude, now I'm struggling. So, since last episode, I've gotten the COVID. I'm getting over it. So this is, we had to delay the recording of this episode. But I'm feeling better. I'm a little congested, but I'm back. I'm ready to go. Yeah. I got my energy back. So,
good deal.
Yep. It was rough. The biggest issue was I had no desire to play any video games.
Oh yeah,
I was stuck at home for a week. I was quarantined, but dude, I just wanted to lay on the couch. I just watched some movies and stuff like that, And then it's just a couple nights ago that I was I got some energy back, and I had a beer and stayed up and played some video games. So, yeah. What about you? You been playing anything? Doing anything exciting?
Little old, little new. Got back on that Call of Duty Atomic Camo grind. Got one more gold gun. Got another one right around the corner. It's just. Yeah, it's interesting. The whole King Kong and Godzilla added into the game, as well as Snoop Dogg. It's crazy.
Did you try the King Kong Godzilla mode thing?
No, I think that's mostly in Warzone, but some of the titles and the operators carry over into multiplayer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been interesting. And then the other thing I played was a newer game. I think it came out at the end of April called Godlike Burger. It's a lot like Overcooked or Cooking Mama, where you have to fill those orders, except it's got a little bit of a twist to it. There's some murderous elements. Fun.
Dude, I love a good burger. I'm excited to, I saw you release some gameplay of you playing that. I'm excited to go watch that, see what that game's all about. It looks interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I when I did finally get to play, I played a little bit of Halo, but dude, my response time was so slower when I was sick. I couldn't keep up with the people. So, I played a little Danganronpa, the first one. We talked about that. Yeah. But even then, dude, it's all just reading. It's a visual novel type situation where you have to solve clues. I kept falling asleep the entire time. I'm playing it, and I'm just dozing off the entire time. So I think I played that for about an hour, and I'm 15 minutes into the into the game. But yeah, and then I got to play one of the new releases that we're going to talk about, and I'll talk about that next. So what do you say? Should we move on to our new releases?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Our new releases from last week. First up, Salt and Sacrifice came out on the 10th for PS4, PS5, and PC. So this is a sequel to Salt and Sanctuary, which is a popular, it's a 2D fantasy role-playing game. It's a Souls-like game where you've got bosses to kill, and it's the same kind of, the vibe, same look. It's dark, and it's, really, really cool looking.
Yeah.
This one, I'm hearing it's not as good as Salt and Sanctuary, and that's because they tried to add a Monster Hunter kind of mechanic where you can get, you could keep killing these bosses and harvest their, items and craft stuff and go from there. So otherwise, if you're a fan of the original, I'm sure you'd probably still be a fan of this because it has the same kind of, the same quality 2D action role-playing game, but, just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
this one had a unique look to it where it almost felt like everything was drawn on paper in the game.
It is. It's a really cool, beautiful game.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, next up, Soundfall came out for PS4, PS5, Xbox One S, X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. This came out May 11th. This one we had to include. It's a really unique game. This is one of the ones that they did talk about at that Nintendo Indie World Showcase. And then when I saw it and when I saw it was coming out right then, I was like, dude, we got to talk about this. So what it is, it's a music-based dungeon crawler, Diablo-esque, I'd say. But there's music that plays, and you have to kill these things to the beat. And like the more you stay on beat, the more powerful you get. It's just like all this stuff like goes along with it. Like if you miss a beat, like you have to like reload your weapon, so it's like you don't get that continuous flow. And just watching some of the trailers for this, I was like, this dude, I like music games, and this is exciting. I want to check this one out.
Yeah, I felt the same way after watching the trailer to this. It looked pretty cool. Like you line up the enemies, you're waiting for your weapon to charge up, and it's charging up to the beat, and you gotta release it on that bass drop. Yeah, how could you go wrong with that?
Yeah, and it's bright, it's vibrant, and you could play co-op up to 4 players. So,
nice.
That would be really cool. I don't know, like I feel like that would be different if you're talking, because you got to like listen to the beat. If you're playing like on headset or something with someone, it might be a little more difficult. But definitely looks cool, and I think it's only like $25-$30 or whatever too. So it's not a full price title. So yeah, that one definitely went on the list. The wish list as soon as I saw it, so we'll see. Next up, Evil Dead the game, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, XS, Nintendo Switch, PC. This came out May 13. This is the game that I did have a little hands-on time with this weekend. So it's a really cool idea. So it's like a asymmetric horror game, kind of like Dead by Daylight, where you play with a group of 4 people. And you have to, do these missions. And there's 2 ways to play. You could play just a co-op campaign where it's kind of like Back 4 Blood, where you're going through and it's PvE. Or there is like a PvP mode where it's the same kind of idea, but someone else is controlling things, which I still haven't really figured out how that works, what they control. But it's really cool. Like at some points they can possess you. They could do these jump scares where it like just puts like a screaming face on your screen to like throw you off. So it's like it's more about controlling the action, what's happening, as opposed to like Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight where you're just like hunting someone down. So I only played the survival part where you're one of the 4 people, but I want to get a chance to try to play as one of the demons and see what that's all about, because playing on the other side, I couldn't really figure it out. But yeah, it's really cool. It's beautiful. The game is beautiful. And like there's tons of items, melee items, ranged like, shotguns and stuff like that, boomsticks, if you will. Yeah. And then on top of that, each type of character, so there's 4 different types of characters, and each one has a skill tree that you could then level up on top of that. So there's a lot going on in this game. Yeah, and it's all from all the Evil Dead movies plus the show Ash vs. Evil Dead. So it's got like all these different skins and stuff like that. Very, very cool game. Only played it for a few hours, but I love it.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you've watched the movies. I didn't even know there was a show.
Yeah, I was a big fan of all the movies. The show, I think I only watched the first season, never finished that, but it's completed now. So, you could go back and binge it. And people loved it. People loved the show. It had the same kind of humor as the movies did. And, same budget, really. A bigger budget probably than the movies for sure. But, it was, it's a fun game even if you're not a fan of the Evil Dead series. It's a very well-made, asymmetrical horror survival type game. So I definitely recommend it, and I'm excited to put a few more hours into it. Put some I'll be putting some of that gameplay up on the Fruit Lab for sure.
Nice.
All right, that's it for our new release titles from last week. Let's get things moving with our news of the week. First up, Sony is investing into its first-party games. So, literally, and figuratively investing into it. So they are, at a Sony earning call, they said they're going to be putting $300 million into their first party studios. Now that's like Santa Monica Games or Guerrilla Games. These are, the studios that are putting out these big budget games. God of War and, those titles. They're saying that this investment, this time investment, this money investment that they're putting into their first party games is paying off, and they showed some footage of their investment versus their return on these first party studios, and it's really, really cool to see how it is paying off for them, and it continues to pay off. We've always talked about how Sony is the game company that has the quality first party titles, and they're going to continue to do that. And another thing they said, they're going to continue to put them out on multiple platforms, and that's been proving well for them. I mean, we're saying PC, we're not going to see them showing up on Xbox or Game Pass, but that has been working out with the new releases of their first party titles coming out on PC, and there's been a nice return on the investment there. So, it's real cool what they're doing there, and that they're still making money. So they said, we plan to increase software development expenses aimed at strengthening first-party software at our existing studios by approximately $308 million. Going forward, we aim to grow the game business by strengthening our first-party software and deploying that software on multiple platforms. So, basically what we just said, just throwing money at it and just trying to, make that money back. But, it's like I said, it's paid off, and the software is doing well. Unfortunately, the hardware sales is struggling. So they missed their goal by 3.3 million units of PS5s. Now, we know that's from, all the issues, supply chain and scalpers and all this shit. So
the machine's literally not being available for most people.
They scaled back their production because they couldn't make it. So that hurt them. So the focus into software is, it's a good idea. Keep doing it. All right, let's talk about EA Games in our EA Games corner, because we got a lot to talk about here. First of all, let's talk about EA Sports and FIFA. For the first time in close to 30 years, there will be no more FIFA EA Sports partnership. They're calling it quits. But EA announced EA Sports FC. It's their replacement for the FIFA title. Now, we talked about it before, them losing the license. They're not agreeing to on a new contract with FIFA because of the money. They were asking for like $1 billion every 4 years, and a bunch of other stuff. So we got a little bit more information about what that other stuff was during a recent announcement. So they said, under the licensing conventions that we had agreed with FIFA 10 years ago, there were some restrictions that weren't going to allow us to be able to build those experiences for players. And experiences, they mean by, having more stuff within the game. Talking about like custom modes and, like how people can watch trailers in Fortnite. They want to do more stuff like that with the EA games. And this $1 billion per 4-year World Cup cycle was a big part of that, on top of not having the ability to, do stuff with what they're paying for. There was a lot of restrictions that FIFA was laying out. But they said, money plays a critical role in most negotiations, but the reason we are doing this is to create the very best experiences we can for both players and partners. As part of that, you consider whether or not your investment in one place is better or worse than an investment in another. So when we think about the future of football right now, we really made this decision on the basis of being able to deliver experiences that our players wanted. They told us they wanted more modalities of play. They told us they wanted to see more commercial partners in the game that are representative and authentic to the broad global world of football. They're telling us they want us to move beyond just the core experience and really build out this digital football experience. And they're telling us they want us to move really, really fast. The important thing to understand, though, is that you travel around the world and you meet with players who are really deeply engaged with our game. For a player in the UK, the most important thing to them is the Premier League. For a player in Germany, the most important thing for them is the Bundesliga. In Spain, it's La Liga, and so on and so forth as you go around the world. What we're focused on right now is building very unique experiences for each of those fans in each of those markets. And what you've seen today is many of our partners come out in support of our ability to do this for our fans. So, very cool. So that gives us an idea of what EA Sports FC is going to be. Now, what that plan is they're going to have, so they lost the FIFA name, but they've signed up to 19,000 athletes, 700 teams, 100 stadiums, and over 30 leagues, including the Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, and UEFA. So, they're not getting the World Cup content anymore. They're not getting that FIFA brand, but they've expanded now. So like all these local regions can play their favorite, their group. I could say Bundesliga more and more. I love saying that.
Now that's a good detail to know for people, because if I am like your yearly FIFA player, what I'm going to be concerned about here is, does the game feel right? Is it like clearly made in the same engine they've been using for years? Does it work in all the technical aspects the way it has, with or without the FIFA name? Because if they can save $250 million on every title, that's kind of big. And wow, 19,000 athletes signed to it. Yeah. That itself is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So it's cool. It seems like they've kind of just rolled with it, and it's going to pay off for fans of football. So that's really cool, and it'll be interesting to see what FIFA ends up doing to kind of get that money back that they're not getting from EA. So I wonder if we'll see a FIFA game coming out with another company or or what. But until then, I think there is another. I'm pretty sure there's another FIFA game coming out, or maybe it just came out. I'm not entirely certain, or maybe they're done. Who knows? What are we, the news? All right, moving on with our EA Games Corner. During an earning call, we got to look at some future offerings from EA Games. Some really cool potential things on the horizon for EA. So there was a slide about EA's Q4 2022 earnings on the presentation, and it shows the next 4 months of releases with F1 2022 in Q1, FIFA and Madden in Q2, and Need for Speed and NHL in Q3, and then Q4, which was the end of 2022 into 2023, there was just PGA Tour. So those were the announcements coming out. Most of them we knew, and then they also showed 4 unknowns, and they are a major IP, a partner title, a remake, and a sports title. And that's all they showed. But they did say that these 4 games have not been publicly disclosed. So, to deduce what's happening here. So a major IP, we know they're working on Dragon Age, Mass Effect. Those ones have been announced that they're being made, but we haven't got any full official announcement from those. So that could be one of those major IPs. I don't know, what else it might be. As far as a remake, people were talking Dead Space, but that one was there was an official announcement made for the Dead Space remake. So besides that, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that it could be out there, but we're going to have to wait and see about that. And then a sports title. People are speculating college football coming back because, there's all the other sports are taken. Games are out there. I don't know what other sports. Maybe curling. Nice curling game.
Yeah. So what under EA's umbrella would you like to see?
For the sports title?
Well, in general, coming out as one of these games, big unknown right now.
So like a big one would definitely be Mass Effect, for sure. Like that one, I would love to see a new next gen version of Mass Effect, and Dragon Age. Like I was a very big fan of the Dragon Age series. The last one I didn't play through all the way. It didn't really do it for me. But yeah, those would be good. What are some other EA games that
I was thinking Battlefront. I mean, it's been a while.
Battlefront?
They
Yeah,
botched the last one. It's time for a revival and do it right this time.
dude, that would be pretty sweet. Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. Um, and then this partner game they talked about. Now that we could talk, like, there's all those EA originals, so the indie games. One of the big names on people's mind is Joseph Fares. He did It Takes Two, and then A Way Out prior to that. So he does those co-op games. It Takes Two was like Game of the Year 100 times over last year. So another something from him would be definitely a notable announcement. But yeah, other than that, we've got no information other than those 4 little clues. So a lot of speculation, and I'm sure we'll continue to speculate, you and I, and hopefully something good comes of it.
Oh yeah, I'm speculating so hard.
I know you are. I could tell your speculation face is on. I could see it. And then another announcement. EA announced that they're making a brand new Lord of the Rings game. Unfortunately, it's just a mobile game. So, you know, I when I saw the headline, dude, I was so excited, man. And then I was like, it was a letdown. It was a big letdown. But everything I'm hearing, so this is the game is going to be called The Lord of the Rings: Heroes of Middle Earth, and it's a collectible role-playing game, and it is it's being developed by EA Capital Games. They're the studio that's responsible for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which I've never played, but everybody loves it. It's a mobile game that everybody loves. It's like another collectible RPG where it's like turn-based combat, and it's got like all the characters from Star Wars in it. So people love it. So that being said, sure, I'll give it a try. I'll download it when it comes out.
Yeah, so this is EA's first Lord of the Rings game since 2006, which was kind of interesting. Let's see if they've still got it. But yeah, it's getting to the point where like some of these mobile games are so good that they can be on console. Mm-hmm. So I don't write it off immediately. We'll see what it looks like and how it plays, and well, it's EA, so how many microtransactions are there?
That's exactly it. EA plus mobile game to me just screams like microtransactions. So we'll see. But like I said, everybody is a big fan of the Star Wars game. So this one, it's going to be very similar. Turn-based combat, a wide roster of characters from across the vast universe of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, with high-fidelity graphics, cinematic animations, and stylized art. So who knows? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt just based on, what was it, the Return of the King? What was the, do you remember, have you played any of the Lord of the Rings EA games?
Don't think so.
So, dude, they were so good. The Two Towers and Return of the King, they were like action role-playing games, and like you could play co-op. Amazing games. I want remakes of those. Yeah. Maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe that'll be the remake that they make. EA, if you're listening, do it. All right, that's let's close up the EAA corner door and hopefully never return. Just kidding. We'll be back next week. All right, next up, let's talk about Nintendo Indie World Showcase. So they just had one of these, the May version. They seem to have them fairly regularly, but this one, it was 20 minutes. 15 games, and let's just talk about a handful of them. What were your favorites from the show? Did you have some favorites?
Yeah, a couple of the standouts for me, and I've seen articles saying that this was like the standout title from this list of games that was announced. Gunbrella, and it's it's hard to describe because it seems like several games that I've liked mashed into one, sort of like a Steam World Dig. It's a 2D side scroller, I believe, but it's got like the older 16-bit graphic style to it. Looks pretty interesting. Yeah, and then the other one was
and the gun umbrella. Don't leave out the gun umbrella.
Oh yeah, the gun umbrella, which is also like a parasol and he does some like zip lining on it.
Yeah.
So a little like a one thing does all weapon.
Yeah.
Seems like. And then the second game I was interested in was Silt. I played a lot of Limbo and Inside, those sort of 2D side-scrolling figure your way out of this weird, surreal situation. And this is like that, Black and white and in the ocean, like underwater,
Yeah,
dripping with style.
definitely. Yeah, all those games are always like very stylish, but the puzzles are always like really well done. So, yeah, that's a good one too. For me, Wild Frost. This one was like, dude, it looked like Animal Crossing meets like a deck building like roguelike. It was very,
Yeah,
very strange. We have to like farm these like creatures, and then I don't know what happens, but you get like you have to build a deck and then you fight in these battles, and yeah, it looks really interesting and it was really cute looking, like all these little cute creatures. And
yeah,
then Cult of the Lamb, also very cute looking, also very satanic, demonic looking. It's like this weird like it's like an action adventure game. I know it's like randomly generated rooms, and you play a lamb, I think, and there's demonic things, and
yeah,
you have to like build a community and collect resources. It's like very, very weird.
yeah. It looked like there's some farming and everything in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And the style of I mean, it reminds me because it has that evil aspect of like Binding of Isaac
I was gonna
and the
say,
sort of
yep.
3/4 view thing. But in my opinion, this one looks a little bit better than the Binding of Isaac style.
Yeah. So it says specifically, it says you play as a possessed lamb who is saved from annihilation by a foreboding stranger. Throughout the game, players will need to repay their debt by building up a community, conquering dangerous dungeons, building research and resources, and much more. So really interesting idea. But yeah, those are faves. You could definitely go watch the other 20 minutes. There were some really cool looking indie games in there as well. But yeah, we're not going to go through all of them just because we got other things to talk about. But I definitely,
Yeah.
if you're a fan of the Nintendo Switch, if you're a fan of indie titles, go check out the May Indie World Showcase. Sega has big plans for us, FC. Lots of possible games on the horizon for them. So they had an earnings presentation, and during it, they kind of outlined their plans for this next fiscal year. And one of the plans include multiple titles that Sega considers to be remakes, remasters, spin-offs, that sort of thing. So they gave some examples of like games that they're talking about, like Sonic games they got coming out, Super Monkey Ball. That Lost Judgment game came out last year from the Sonic or from Sega. So those ones they sold well. But now they're hoping to sell more, so they're increasing the amount. Now they're aiming to publish 13 games this time during this same period, up 7 from last year. So we know about Sonic Frontier, Sonic Origins, Soul Hackers 2, Endless Dungeon, and 2 Point Campus being announced. But there's a bunch more that have not been announced. So as far as remakes, remasters, spin-offs in the Sega world, is there anything that you would like them to make?
Yeah, what I was looking at, there was like a really nice list of possible older things that could be
Mm-hmm.
revived, like Crazy Taxi. Didn't even know that
Crazy.
was under Sega, but
Yep, that would be
how
a good
about
one.
a modern Crazy Taxi? Yeah, that sounds awesome.
We talked
Uh,
about a possible, I don't know if it was a rumor or what, talking about a Crazy Taxi as a games as a service type thing where like it's a big open world and like you're constantly like upgrading your car and like doing all this stuff. Like that would be a lot of fun.
yeah, that Panzer Dragoon. I played a little bit of that. I think back on the PlayStation.
Yeah, I remember playing that and being terrible at it because that was when I first realized that like I can't do flying games.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
terrible at them.
yeah. I didn't play it, but Shinobi. I know that was a big one. I think
Yep.
people would be psyched about maybe not a remake, but like a well, reboot. Yeah,
Yeah,
too many words.
exactly.
Virtua Fighter. Yeah,
Virtua Fighter.
some of these would be awesome.
That was a lot of fun. Virtua Fighter. Jet Set Radio. You ever played that, dude? It's an inline
Oh,
skating.
I remember it. They always
tagging
promoted they promoted the Sega Dreamcast with that game. It looked
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, that game was a lot of fun. So yeah, it was like inline skating and spray painting, and that one I think could do really well as as another multiplayer title. Res. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, but yeah, hopefully they'll be able to put out some good games. That's the only thing. Just especially because if they're doing remakes, reboots, a lot of these are beloved by a lot of fans from previously. And that's the issue you have with a remake or a reboot. You have to make a quality game in order for it to resonate and for people not to be upset that you just took a shit on one of their favorite titles.
Yeah.
So, who knows what we'll see, but there's a lot of possibilities to work with, and if they're trying to churn out 13 titles, and if the Sonic games do well, and who knows, like this is a good thing for people that are fans of older Sonic titles. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, dude, Crazy Taxi, that was a fun game, and I would definitely like to see that one back again. All right, we got some news about Gotham Knights. There was a new trailer that showed off the Nightwing and Red Hood, showed them playing together. And with that trailer, there was a little note that they included saying that there will be no PS4 or Xbox One games. So this had been previously announced to have these last-gen versions available, and they just snuck it in there that they will not be making the focus only on the next-gen, current-gen titles. So, people were a little upset by that. Not myself. I got a PS5, so, hit the road, you last-gen nothings. But, I'm very excited about this. I've talked about it regularly that, this game is going to be dope. There was some speculation throughout there, too, that there's going to be 4-player co-op, but then they did confirm that it's only 2-player co-op. So, don't get too excited.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of that overall, where we are in this space right now, where a lot of people can't get the next-gen consoles, or they're, like, ridiculously expensive, and I thought it was helpful that they were going to release this on old last-gen consoles.
Yeah. I agree. It's tough, though. It's definitely hard because whenever they do that, whenever they split from last-gen and current-gen, it really makes everything harder for the developer because it's a big difference in what they're doing. And then, like, to try to find that line with what they can do on the next-gen, titles versus where they have to scale that back. I mean, we saw it with Cyberpunk, worst of all. They tried to create this game that they could still have on the last gen versions, and it blew up in their face. So it sucks for people that can't get a new console, but I think it would suck more for Warner Brothers as a developer to put out a broken game. Like there's got to be a reason that they cancel this. Either it was just too much effort, or if something was wrong. But there has to be some reason, because there's a lot of PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones out there, and to not be able to make this available to all that huge player base, there's got to be a reason. You're not just throwing away money for nothing. So I think that whole Cyberpunk thing, it really set a tone going forward for what they should do or can do when it comes to last gen titles.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, it's a gamble for them because they want a game that lives up to its potential. And if it has to be for lack of a better word, neutered for the previous generation of consoles and what they're capable of, then you're going to get a low reviewing game that people aren't going to buy. But if it is the best game on the new system, then everybody's going to buy it once they get, the new console.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then it will be available on PC for, if people don't have a next gen console, but still have a decent gaming PC. But, we'll see. We'll see. It comes out October 25th, unless there's another delay. But, only time will tell. We'll see about that one. But, yeah, I'm very excited. I always love the Batman games in this series. And now, coming from a fresh perspective, I think it's going to be a really fun game. And the trailer looked dope. So that got me really hyped, too. Speaking of delays, we got a couple big ones. So Starfield and Redfall have been delayed to 2023. We don't know much other than that. No other release windows or dates. Starfield was originally set to come out November 11th. Redfall, we didn't have a date, but yeah, now both pushed to the first half of 2023. So, were you upset about this one?
I've been hearing bits and pieces about Starfield over the last couple of years, and I am interested in that when it comes out. But I'm not like there's so much to play that I'm not like hyper focused waiting for any particular game to come out.
Yep.
Redfall I wasn't even aware of until this news came out.
Yeah. Redfall I might even be more excited for than Starfield because of the aesthetic of it. It looks really cool. But I figured that one was a ways out still because we haven't heard anything. Like you said, like you weren't even aware of it.
Yeah.
All right, so Bethesda, they tweeted a statement. They just said, we've made the decision to delay the launches of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023. The teams of Arcane, Austin, and Bethesda Game Studios have incredible ambitions for their games. We want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished versions of them. We want to thank everyone for their excitement for Redfall and Starfield. That energy is a huge part of what inspires all of us every day and drives our own excitement for what we are creating. We can't wait to share our first deep dive into the gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Thank you for your support. So, yeah, it's we've talked about it many times. I know you and I are both pro delay if it's going to make the game better. It sucks when you're looking forward to something, but you can't release a broken game. Make the game
not anymore.
It's going to be. No.
Not in this post-cyberpunk world.
Exactly. And you never should have been able to anyways. I mean, we're even seeing like it's too much as it is now where these games are coming out and then they have the day one patches and all this stuff where it's like the games are still not coming out completed, but at least they work. The bar is so low right now. So just especially Starfield, dude, people are like fervent over that game. There is it's the next big Bethesda game. It's gonna need to be amazing. So take the time, make it great. And then just real quick, talking about games, there was a possible leak of new Silent Hill. There was some images that were released onto Twitter by a Twitter user named Aesthetic Gamer, who has previously leaked things that have been right. So, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But, just these pictures that show that it's, one picture shows a messy room, a red corridor with notes covering the wall, a woman's face that has been partially unpeeled with messages like, I hate myself, and Minger exposed underneath their skin. So, we're led to believe that this is a British Silent Hill title, and that's all we know.
Is it solely based on the word Minger?
I think so. Well, then there was also on one of the walls it said, "He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy," which is a line from Monty Python's The Life of Brian. So just that plus Minger leads us to believe that it's a British thing. That plus there was there was a Nando's outside, and
all the zombies had British accents.
Yeah, they were wearing topping hats.
Oh, gosh.
So yeah, we'll see if that's true or not. But I'd love a new Silent Hill game. I don't know if you're a fan of those at all. They're spooky.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for our news of the week. We got anything else to add?
Nah.
We did it. That's it. All right, let's talk about a brand new content creator of the week. All right, this week we'd like to recognize the legend of Manu as our content creator of the week. This guy, big Nintendo fan. I mean, that's an understatement. This dude plays a lot of Zelda, Donkey Kong, Super Mario, all that stuff. He's on Twitch regularly playing. I know he's played Valorant too, so not entirely Nintendo based, but heavily Nintendo based.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, I watched some of the clips he's posted on Fruit Lab. My favorite, he does like these, best of Twitch moments or his outtakes from Twitch moments, the funny parts. This dude is having fun, man. He's got a good Twitch following, and they're having fun there. I want to watch one of his live Twitch things. I haven't been able to see it yet, but he looks like, he plays with his fan base, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. As we spoke about a little before this, this is somebody who definitely has partner potential. We were thinking.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, when he does like Twitch highlights, it's not just a quick moment from the Twitch. It's like a 2-minute long video, several put together, and that's appreciated. I like seeing a lot of good content put together. That way, I don't have to sort through 15 different videos. Find the good moments.
Exactly.
I thought an interesting part from his bio. He says, "My goal is to give everybody a great time and share my love for video games with you. I love playing games with the community and creating friendships with nice people on here. My dream is to be an actor in the future. I would love to play the typical German in some movies."
So,
interesting.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, he's his accent is great. I love his his German accent. He sounds like who's that one guy? I don't know.
Flulaborg?
Yes! You nailed it.
The only German accent guy I could think of.
He sounds like him, and it makes me laugh just when I hear him talk. So he's got a YouTube. He's doing his thing on Twitch. So we'll put a link to his page in the show notes. Click it, follow it, go check out his videos. I guarantee you will enjoy yourself, even more so if you like Nintendo stuff, because he's doing a lot of walkthroughs, playthroughs of a lot of the Nintendo titles. So go check that out. And that brings us to our finale. What about now? You got anything to add now?
Absolutely nothing.
All right. You're bringing a lot to the table, and that's what I like to hear. I know. That's what I like to hear. Listen, I was only the one laid up with COVID. And now we're back. And you know what I did do while I was out sick? I created a TikTok page for us. Gaming News Weekly is now on TikTok, bringing highlights of our episodes regularly. So, if you're watching this show, you've already got all the information. You don't need to go there. But if you just need a quick fix, you definitely should. But, if you just need a quick fix, find out what we're talking about, you could go there and watch, a little snippet.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the week's new episode yet, go there and get you a little injection of what you need.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So, in addition to that, you could find us Fruit Lab. It's where you find all our sweet gaming content. I'm Erect the Red. He's full clip there. Twitch, you're doing your thing. Full clip _FL. YouTube, Pop Culture Playground on YouTube. And the audio version of this show anywhere podcasts are available. If you're getting it from Spotify or Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review and tell us how much you love us. And then and go to TikTok. We have we need followers there. All right. Anything else now?
No.
I knew it. All right. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you next week with more video game news. Bye-bye.